CANON F-789SGA Mode 2. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, On The Real Engineering Solutions. And in this video, I'll be exploring this calculator, specifically on Mode 2, okay, in complex mode. So in this video, mag-calculate tayo nito, no, mag-evaluate tayo nito, no, and I have, I think, about 20 problems here, no, because in my last video, I explored on mode 1, so ngayon mode 2 naman tayo, no? So get ready na, i-ready nyo na yung calculator ninyo, mag-start na tayo. Okay, by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, no, click the subscription button, no, do not forget, and also share this to your classmates, especially those that are about to take the board exam, no? Okay, let's start na. So, first problem here. Let's say we are to evaluate this. Square root of negative 8 times square root of negative 2 over 9. Well, if we are to evaluate that right away, the square root of negative 8 times square root of negative 2 over 9, this will become math error, as you can see. Now, bakit? Kasi the mode where I am in this calculator is mode 1. Now, dapat I have to change my mode. Now, I must go to complex mode. So that is mode 2. So that I would be able to evaluate this, because every time we are to take the square root of negative number, no, the result is an imaginary number. So, dapat naka-complex tayo. So, square root of 8, negative 8, times the square root of negative 2 over 9. So the answer is equal to negative 4 over 3. Okay? Negative 4 over 3. So that is the answer. Now, number 2, how about if we are to evaluate this? I squared minus I cubed plus I raised to 6 minus I raised to 8 plus I raised to 12. Okay. So I'm going to evaluate that. By the way, the I button in this calculator is now located here, no? Eng. Okay, if we are to compare that with the 991 ES Plus, okay, the I, as you can see, is here in Eng button, but yun nga, andito siya, no? Different na siya. And also the angle button, which was here in 991 ES Plus, no? Shift then this negative sign. Now, if we are to evaluate that angle button, that is just this integral button. No? Later, I'll be using that. Pero dito lang muna tayo. So if I'm going to evaluate that, that is I squared. Square is here, minus I cubed. So cube is shift then this. Plus I raised to 6. So we're going to use this. Then minus I raised to 8. Plus I raised to 12. Now, if I'm going to evaluate this, that gives me math error. Well, why is that? Well, it's because hindi niya makaya yung I raised to 6, I raised to 8, I raised to 12. No? Every time it evaluates for I to the power of a number which is greater than 3, magiging math error siya. Example, tingnan natin, I raised to 4. See, mag-math error siya, no? It can only evaluate up to I cubed, no? So, I squared kaya niya. Of course, I squared is equal to negative 1, because we know the definition of I is equal to square root of negative 1, and that is why if we are to evaluate the square of that, the result is negative 1. And if we are to evaluate I cubed, the result of I cubed is equal to negative I. Okay? That is the result, because I cubed is equal to I squared times I. No? So it leaves us negative I. Right? And if we are to raise I to the power of 4, take note, it's like we are raising I squared to a power of 2. Right? So I to the power of 4 is equal to 1. Okay? So, yun na nga. The calculator cannot evaluate I to a power of a number which is greater than 3. No? So if we are to evaluate I raised to 6, dapat we must write this like this. I raised to 3 times I raised to 3, because we know the product of this is equal to I raised to 6, right? So it's like we are to raise that I cubed to the power of 2. Okay? Or pwede you are to evaluate I cubed times I cubed. No? So if we are to do that for I raised to 6, then we can get this. I raised to 6, I cube, then squared. So it can evaluate na. The result is equal to -1. Now this I raised to 6 is equal to -1. But how about I raised to 8? So for I raised to 8, again, if you were to evaluate that, magiging math error yan. No? Make it like this. Make it equal to I cube, okay, then squared. So that is now I raised to 6. Then times I squared. As you see, it will become I raised to 6 times I squared, or that is equivalent to I raised to 6 plus 1. Now, so its result is equal to what? I raised to 8 is equal to 1. Or as you can see, it's like you are raising I raised to 4 by 2. No? So the power is of course 1. No, 1 raised to 1 is always 1. No? So ganun, every time we are to raise a number which is a multiple of 4, or I mean, every time we are to raise I by a number which is a multiple of 4, no, n is always a whole number dito, then its result is always equal to 1. Ganun yan. So this 12, since that is a multiple of 4, then I raised to 12 must also be 1. So if we are to evaluate this, I squared is equal to -1, while I cubed is equal to -I, right? I raised to 6 naman is equal to, what's that again? -1. Then minus I raised to 8. I raised to 8 is 1, and I raised to 12 is also 1. Okay? So evaluating that, that gives us 1. So ayos ba? -1. Or, pwede, let me recheck this, if that is indeed correct. No, it's -2 plus I. Sorry for that. This is wrong. No, -2. Say this will become -2. Then ito makancel. So -2 plus I. That is the answer. Now, ganito na lang. Every time we are to raise I to a power of a number multiple of 4, its result is equal to 1. And if ever hindi siya multiple of 4, but it's in a form 4n plus 1, no? Like 1 more than a number multiple of 4, for example, 13 or 17 or 21, then its result is always equal to negative, is always equal to I. No, not negative, but I. For example, I raised to the power of 21. 20 is a multiple of 4. No? So I raised to 20 plus 1 is equal to I raised to 20 times I. No? So its result is equal to I. Ganun yan. And if this becomes raised to the power of 4n plus 2, that means 2 more than a number which is a multiple of 4, then its result is equal to what? What do you think is its result? Its result is equal to -I. Okay, this is always equal to -I. For example, I raised to 22. We know that 22 is equal to I raised to 20 times I squared. No? And I raised to 20 is 1, because 20 is a multiple of 4, and I squared is equal to -1. So I raised to 22 is equal to -1. So ganun yung result. Okay? -1 pala ito, not -I, but -1. And if that is I raised to the power of 4n plus 3, okay, then its result should always be negative I. Ito yung negative I. For example, I raised to 23. Now, its result is equal to negative I. Okay? So, there's a pattern here. If that is a number divisible by 4, no, or multiple of 4, the result is 1. If I is raised to a number 1 more than a multiple of 4, the result is I. Then if it's 2 more than a multiple of 4, its result is negative 1. If the power is 3 more than a multiple of 4, the result is negative I. So pattern ito. Okay? So if we are to evaluate this, all we have to check now is if that number is divisible by 4. Okay, 97. Okay, we know I raised to 97 is math error, of course, no? But ito yung gagawin natin. Divide 97 by 4. So we can see its quotient is equal to 24.25. Okay? Or in mixed fraction, that is 24 and 1/4. Well, what does that mean? That means that 97 is equal to 4 times 24 plus 1. All right? It becomes 97. So it's like we are raising that to 1. No, I raised 1. And that's equivalent to I, of course. No? Ganun yan. If we are to raise that to the power of 143, divide it by 4. No, 143 divided by 4. So what is its result? The result is equal to, in mixed fraction, 35 and 3/4. So meron siyang 3 na remainder. So it's like ganito, 4 times 35 times plus 3. Okay, it's like that. It's equal to 143. So this is like we are to evaluate this as I raised to 3. Okay ba? And if that is divided by raised to the power of 3,172. So again, do division, divide it by 4. 3,172 divided by 4. And as you see, that is a multiple of 4. Now, 3172 is a multiple of 4 because that is divisible by 4. So, since it's a multiple of 4, now it's equal to 4 times 793, then the result should be equal to 1. Now, I raised to 3,172 must be equal to 1. Okay ba? And for 742 divided by 4, so its result is equal to what? 317 over 2, or in mixed fraction, that is 185 and 1/2, or 2/4. No, 185 over 2, 185 and 2 over 4. So it's like this 742 is 185 times 4, or 4 times 185 plus 2. Okay, so pwede that we are to make this equivalent to I raised to the power of 2, no, or that is equal to negative 1. So ganun yan. Okay, so take note of this pattern from now on. No, if if divisible by 4, the result is 1. If the power is 1 more than divisible by 4, the result is I. If the power is 2 more than divisible by 4, it's negative 1. And if that is divisible by, if it's raised to a power of 3 more than divisible by 4, multiple of 4, the result is negative I. So that's it. Okay? Now here, stop muna ako. No, I'll be continuing this in my other video. No, medyo I'm gonna make my video shorter na. So see you sa next video. Continuation to this. Goodbye and God bless.